Welcome back to the swamp, folks. Today, we're diving into a video that claims to unravel why Stu Macher's survival fits perfectly with Scream 7's rumored AI commentary. Sounds riveting, right? I mean, who doesn't want to hear about a Nenny slasher character's potential resurrection and some digital nonsense? Let's be real. If I wanted to hear about AI, I'd just sit in my bog and let the frogs croak their opinions. But here we are, ready to sift through this cinematic sledge together. Will this video be a masterpiece or just another overhyped pile of nonsense? Grab your popcorn, or whatever you kids snack on these days, and let's find out if this analysis is worth my precious time or if it stinks worse than my bog after a rainstorm. And hey, if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button, because trust me, you don't want to miss my delightful grumpiness. Let's get into it.
It's about time we talk about this Scream 7 AI theory that everyone seems to be running with. I have yet to really talk about it on the channel because I'm not crazy about the idea, but I think I found a different angle that I haven't seen anyone talk about.
The classic "I have a unique perspective" line. It's like a toad claiming it's the best singer in the swamp. Sure, buddy, but I am not holding my breath. If you've got a different angle, let's hope it's not just another spin on the same tired tropes. How many times can we rehash the same old slasher nonsense? If it's not groundbreaking, it's just more bog muck. Let's see what you've got.
A lot of people think that Roman and Stu returning means that it's just going to be AI or a flashback. But let's talk about why Stu being alive fits perfectly with the AI commentary.
Certain rules. Push the laws and you end up dead.
This is the moment when the supposedly dead killer comes back to life.
Not in my movie.
Surprise, Sydney. He's gone mad.
We all go a little mad sometimes.
A very simple formula.
You want to play psycho killer?
Everybody's a suspect.
No, please don't kill me, Mr. Ghostface. I want to be in the sequel.
I'll be right back.
Okay, I think it's going to go something like this.
I'm Pamela, welcome back to the channel. So as I said earlier, I'm not a huge fan of this whole AI theory. Is it a possibility that it's going to happen in Scream 7? Sure. But I'm just not crazy about it, and that's why I haven't done a video on it yet. But I had an interesting thought on how it could actually tie into the movie.
Finally, an interesting thought. It's about time someone brought something fresh to the table instead of regurgitating the same old AI chatter. If you've got a way to tie this into the movie that doesn't involve a digital ghost popping up every 5 minutes, eyes all ears. Let's see if this theory can actually hold water or if it's just another flimsy excuse to keep the franchise alive.
The movie and Stu actually being alive. Now,
oh great, resurrecting Stu, just what we need. Another character who should have stayed 6 feet under. If you're going to bring him back, at least give it some weight instead of just slapping a surprise he's alive sticker on it. This better not turn into a cheap gimmick to cash in on nostalgia. If you're going to tie him into the AI nonsense, make it clever, not just a desperate ploy to keep the audience guessing.
Now, as we know, every single Scream movie is sort of a commentary on things that are popular at the time in real life. And we know that AI is kind of taking over the world, so I think that's a big reason why people are thinking that Scream 7 is going to touch upon this. And like I said, the fact that Roman is coming back, but he's clearly dead, he was shot in the head, and the fact that Stu is coming back, even though I think he's alive, a lot of people out there do think that he's dead. And especially because they announced Roman's return, people are assuming that Stu must also be dead. And a lot of people think that Ghostface is going to be using AI to sort of torment Sydney, where she's gonna see Roman again, she's gonna see Stu again, but it's just going to be AI. And a lot of people think that's all it's gonna be. Stu's not gonna be alive. But if Scream 7 does use AI, I think it actually makes perfect sense with Stu being alive.
Finally, a glimmer of hope. If you can actually weave Stu's survival into an AI narrative in a way that feels fresh and relevant, then maybe we're onto something. It's about time someone gave this character a purpose beyond just being a nostalgic face. Let's see if you can pull it off without it feeling like a cheap trick. I'm cautiously intrigued. Don't let me down.
So we have to talk about the writer's strike that happened in the summer of 2023, which Kevin Williamson was actually there for some of the protests. A big part of the writer's strike was centered around concerns about the increasing use of artificial intelligence in the industry, with writers fearing that AI could potentially replace their jobs by generating content without proper credit or compensation. So the writer's strike was about AI replacing jobs, but it's not as good as the real person doing it. The concerns with AI are that it's replacing the real thing, but nothing can replace the real thing. So if Scream 7 is a commentary on AI, when it comes to Stu, nothing can replace Stu.
Now we're getting somewhere. If Scream 7 is going to tackle the idea that nothing can replace the real deal, like Stu, then that could actually be a clever twist. It's like saying, sure, AI can mimic, but it'll never have that chaotic charm of a real killer. If they can pull this off without it feeling forced, I might just give a reluctant nod of approval. Let's see how you tie this all together.
Nothing is more terrifying than seeing the real thing. Sure, maybe Sydney will receive some sort of AI video of Stu to kind of torment her. And at first, that's probably going to freak her out a little bit, but nothing is more terrifying than seeing the real thing. Kevin Williamson literally protested at the writer's strike, which was largely about the concern with AI replacing writers. So if they use AI in Scream 7, what's the overall point that they're trying to make? AI will never replace the real thing.
Now that's a solid takeaway. If Scream 7 can drive home the message that AI can't replicate the raw chaotic energy of a real killer, then we might be onto something worthwhile. It's a clever commentary on the state of storytelling today, if they can balance that with some genuine scares and not just rely on gimmicks. I might actually be impressed. Let's see if they can pull it off without getting lost in the digital weeds.
Real thing. You can't beat the human experience. In real life, is AI going to replace an actual writer? No, because nothing beats the real thing. In Scream 7, is AI going to replace the killer? No, because like I said, nothing is more terrifying than seeing the real thing. Maybe Stu will be taunting Sydney with AI.
The classic taunting via AI. It's like a digital ghost haunting Sydney's phone. If they can make that genuinely creepy, it could add a fresh layer to the horror. But let's be real. If Stu's just popping up on a screen, it better be more than just a cheap scare. I want to see some psychological torment here, not just a flashy gimmick. If they can nail that balance, it could be a thrilling ride.
But the real thing is going to show up at the end because nothing can replace it.
Now that's the kind of twist I can get behind. If the real Stu shows up at the end, it'll pack a punch that no AI can replicate. It's like the ultimate reveal. After all the digital nonsense, the real terror comes crashing in. That could be a brilliant way to drive home the message about authenticity and horror. If they execute it well, it might just elevate the whole film. Let's hope they don't drop the ball on this one.
The first Scream movie was a commentary on horror tropes. Scream 2 was sequels. Scream 3 was trilogies. But also people in Hollywood who are kind of like Harvey Weinstein. You know, John Milton was kind of this Harvey Weinstein type of character, which was just another layer to Scream 3. Scream 4 was remakes and internet fame. You know, Jill wanted internet fame. Robbie says everyone's going to be doing this one day, streaming their entire lives. Scream 5 was toxic fandom. Scream 6 was franchises. If Scream 7 really is going to be a commentary on AI, I think it actually makes a lot of sense.
Finally, a coherent thought. If Scream 7 dives into the AI commentary, it could be a timely reflection on the industry's current struggles. It's about time someone tackled the implications of technology on creativity. If they can weave that into the slasher formula without losing the essence of what makes Scream, we might just have a winner on our hands. Let's hope they don't get lost in the digital weeds.
If Kevin Williamson, who protested at the writer's strike, had a concern with AI replacing the real thing, it makes sense to do that in Scream 7 with the killers. Sure, Sydney seeing an AI version of Stu might be a little creepy at first, but it doesn't really have that much of an impact. It's not going to be as good as the real thing showing up at the end.
Now we're talking. If the real Stu showing up at the end is the big reveal, that's the kind of payoff that can elevate the whole film. It's all about the impact, and nothing beats the genuine article. If they can build that tension with the AI gimmick leading up to the real deal, it could be a thrilling ride. Let's hope they don't fumble the execution.
The end. Now, even though Guy Busick is the writer, I still think Kevin Williamson has a major say in the script. Maybe that's why things got so delayed. There were a ton of script rewrites. Maybe Kevin had a better idea, made it the way that he wants, and he's obviously against AI taking writers' jobs. There are rumors that Stu has a major role in this movie.
Now we're getting somewhere. If Stu is rumored to have a major role, that could really shake things up. It's one thing to bring him back for a quick scare, but if he's integral to the plot, it could add some serious depth. Let's hope they handle his character with care and not just use him as a nostalgia crutch. If they can make his return meaningful, it might just elevate the whole franchise.
This movie, he's not just a small cameo, so I really don't think that they would bring him back just for some little AI video. If that was the case, I feel like they could have kept it a secret. Like, he could have filmed that just probably from the comfort of his own home. Like, there wouldn't be a risk of seeing him on set. Same thing with David Arquette. Dewey Riley is returning.
Oh, Dewey's back. That's a twist I can get behind. If they're bringing him back, it better be more than just a nostalgic nod. Dewey has always been a fan favorite, and if he's got a significant role, it could really add some weight to the story. Let's hope they give him the character development he deserves and not just throw him in for a cheap thrill. This could be a promising direction for Scream 7.
Returning, I don't think that they would announce it if it was just AI. Obviously, I don't think Dewey's alive. I think he's going to be a flashback, but if Stu had just a minor role, I don't think that they would announce it like this. He's rumored to have a major role. And I don't think that if this was all that it was for Stu, just AI, I don't think Skeet Ulrich would be so excited for him. We saw them at a fan convention. Skeet Ulrich was so happy for Matthew Lillard. He said, I know that he's been wanting this for years. I'm so happy for you.
Matt called me and told me when word came down, and I was so ecstatic for him, because anybody who's been to one of these or knows him or has followed him knows how much he has wanted that. So I'm very happy for you.
We know that Matthew Lillard has been saying for years that Stu is alive, so I don't think Skeet would be expressing this happiness for Matthew Lillard if it was just a tiny little AI cameo. So yeah, I think Stu being alive actually fits perfectly with the whole AI commentary.
Finally, a solid conclusion. If Stu being alive ties into the AI commentary, that could add some real depth to the narrative. It's a clever way to juxtapose the old school horror with modern fears about technology. If they can pull this off without it feeling forced, it might just elevate Scream 7 into something genuinely thought-provoking. Let's see if they can deliver on this intriguing premise.
Nothing can replace.
Well, there you have it. Another trip down the slippery slope of slasher nostalgia wrapped up in some AI nonsense. We journeyed through the wild claim that Stu Macher's survival in Scream 7 actually holds some weight, and honestly, it was a mixed bag of soggy ideas and lukewarm hypotheses. I started off expecting the usual tired tropes, and guess what? I got a dose of that, but sprinkled in with a few actual intriguing thoughts. Who wouldn't have thought? They had me rolling my eyes at the resurrection of a character that should have been left 6 feet under. But then they sweetened the deal with some clever twists about the authenticity of horror. That part did strike a chord. I grudgingly admit that if they can serve up a third act that pulls off a real jolt, they might just escape the bog of mediocrity in the end. If they manage to stitch together the old school with modern-day fears about tech, we could have more than just another flimsy scare fest. I'll be raising a cautiously impressed eyebrow if that actually happens. Now, if they drop the ball on this one, well, I'll just have to hunt down whoever wrote it and give them a piece of my swamp wisdom. What a nightmare that will be. So, if you enjoyed watching me slog through this analysis of absurdity and you'd like to see more of my delightful grumpiness, make sure to subscribe. Like this video, and turn on those notifications because you don't want to miss out on my next bout of skeptical insights. Until next time, keep your bogs clean and your horror authentic. Croak on, my friends.